marathon 1,000 miles after you, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be so over it. You're gonna wish this thing would end. And they are starting just when you feel that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's why I always wonder. There's always the thing about kids bring back the joy in life.
Small respect
That
for
Invincible
everyone.
has.
Yeah, and that's gonna push you forward. You're gonna be like, oh hell no, is this little punk gonna beat me, bro? I'm gonna show him, and you're gonna get forward ahead of him for a little while.
And then he has to take you over.
But there is no way to avoid him getting beyond you. There's just no way.
But that's the thing is, I don't remember who said it, but it's a quote that says our biggest aim in life as parents is to create kids that are better at us, better at everything than us. I don't remember where the quote comes from, but that was what I completely agree with. You raise a kid to be better than you. That's kind of a little tiny aim of having a kid. You want to raise it and teach it the things that you failed at. You don't want to force it into the stuff you failed at. Please don't ever force your kid to do something because you were bad at it. Like don't if you have a pretty kid, don't force them to have a model because you couldn't be one. Something like that. But you're gonna try your best to teach it better than you learned. And so yeah, inevitably your kid has to overtake you. They have to. If they don't, something's wrong.
No, they don't have to, Johan. They will inevitably overtake you.
Hello. Wrong phrase. I agree.
There we go. So Keval just joined us in the call, I believe.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, my man?
Yo, what's your name?
Am I audible to you guys?
Like, you're audible, but it sounds like you're a little bit far away from your mic.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are far away to me too. Like our physical distance was taken as an actual suggestion by the app.
What's your name, my friend?
My name is Keval.
Keval.
Yes, it is Keval. Wait, let me just turn on my speaker and try to connect my phone to it.
Like, it already sounds better now, Keval, by the way. Like, it sounds significantly better.
Yeah,
COVID,
COVID regulations.
It's very hard to continue a conversation like this. It's very weird.
Okay, like,
get
yourself sorted out. You don't have to worry about it. Yo, like, we've been having a little bit of a chat as well. Been talking about parents again, and, you know, us younger generations inevitably evolving as a result of just living in a new age.
Yeah, we've dived. We dove down a rabbit hole.
As we tend to do. Like, I think you friends are going to enjoy how this YouTube video looks. Like, I'm actually low-key kind of happy. It looks really cool right now.
I've been trying to think of ways to spice up the actual video for people watching. And I was going to do the same thing you're doing now for this session. Like
literally just a psychedelic influence with some psychedelic conversations.
Dude, something I've been doing now, and I've also in the video. Sorry?
How do you put that psychedelic experience in the video, like from a technical aspect? Like, do you just put some fractals in the frame and be done with it?
Almost. Like, you'll see if you watch the video afterwards. Like, I got it figured out.
I definitely will. Like someone commented to the MeltMore, I'm a narcissistic poet.
So, like, talking about that as well, Keval, like, Hristian, as his name is saved, is also, or not anymore, he has some sort of Russian shit going on.
Like, it's Amanor in Russian.
I wanna just before we start, now that my speaker's running, I just wanna learn your names properly, so I know who I'm talking to. I know ST, I'm from Reddit, but it's good to hear your voice again live. But yeah, who are the other two guys I'm speaking to?
Chris, go for it.
Okay, so the other person is just simply Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you as well, Keval.
So, Keval, I just want to stop you real quick, just so that we have the best possible audio quality. Like, I don't know if when you switch to your Bluetooth speaker, it maybe like uses your Bluetooth speaker's like microphone or something.
No, it doesn't. It uses my phones. Don't worry.
Because I kind of hear myself like echoing.
Oh, you can?
Just a little bit.
That might be.
Like your
Wait,
audio
just
sounds a lot better now as well, though. So like maybe it'll be okay.
Well,
all right.
I can't hear you. I
Because
can't hear
I was
myself.
just unable to hear you before that. Like I had no idea what was happening.
Good
Okay,
old technical
fine.
difficulties.
Do technical difficulties. Always.
Yeah,
Every
man.
time. But
It is always fucking around us.
no, my name, I hope you can hear me. My name's Shahan.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you
Nice
as
to
well,
meet you.
Shahan.
Is it Keval or Keval? Like, does
It's
it
actually
matter?
the
Wow.
second one. It's actually the second one.
Okay. I'll call you
Keval.
Keval.
Cable.
Cable.
Yeah, but
Keval.
yeah, cable. Like okay, cable.
Nice.
Keval.
Where are you
Yeah,
from?
there you go. You get it. You get it.
Aha, Keval. I've heard you are actually a poet.
Yes, yes, I am.
Keval,
Damn.
I'm going to ask you a bit of a favor. I would really, really enjoy it if you sent some of your content through, perhaps on the group chat or something. Perhaps you can take some time to actually read us one of your poems.
Right now.
Surprisingly, yes. Why not?
Just the deep end, bro. We see like this little lake, and then you're just like, nah, bro, we're gonna take this rock and huck and see how deep we can throw it.
I see that small pinky you're showing us, Cable. Let's pull you right into the water.
I can hear a fantastic human being from the second I take notion of their voice. So please, for God's sake, do us this favor.
All right. You know what? All right. See, the thing is, as a poet, you're always waiting for the moment when people just let go, all right? There's this sham and there's this pretension we've built with society with all our introductions and all our names and all our traditions, right? That we create and we carry this idea of personage. But as a poet, what you're truly waiting for, or if you're really, really good, what you're trying to create are those moments where all of it breaks and the individual is out of their individualness and they see themselves in their surroundings for what they are, not just a node, not just a part, but a vector, sharing and reacting and creating that energy all the same. Now, all this I can say without even referring to any of those my books because this is what I believe. But since you asked for a poem, since you asked for a proper goddamn sent from the heavens poem,
Yes,
do
yes,
you that?
yes. Do me this favor.
Dude, you can hear you're a poet, man.
So this is the
Do me
poem
this
Oceanic
favor. Do me this justice, please.
So this is a poem Oceanic Vibes, all right? And the trick is, if you listen to this poem, you can hear the ocean. That's it.
Just before you start, Keval,
Mm-hmm.
bring your phone as close as possible to your face while you're saying the poem.
All right, this
I want it to
this
be
is
crisp, dude. I want everyone to hear every word.
crystal clear.
Yep.
All right. So this is the poem Oceanic Vibes. And just like that, ripples in the calm, eternal ocean that used to be the universe. Is it us, the humans, who are doing that, making the ripples in the calm, eternal ocean that used to be the universe? Or are we, the humans, the ripples, existing in the calm, eternal ocean that used to be the universe, existing, reacting, performing, dreaming, acting, performing in the vain hope of making a whirlpool? A whirlpool big enough that it drowns us, and it floats to the bottom, endlessly pontificating, endlessly wondering, endlessly dreaming, sharing, thinking in and on and about our own nothingness. Till oblivion comes and takes me away from this great facade. Oh, oblivion, come and take me away from this great facade and deliver me onto the days of the immortals, whomsoever they may be, and from whichever magic imaginary book they might have been summoned from. Where we lament because we are to be judged on the rank of our lies. If so, why not? just cut the cord. Right here, right now, and on this call with you, sever my veins and with them the strings of silly consciousness, and for a single second be not what we think we are, what we fear we are, the us we were always supposed to be, the us we are always trying to be, the us I introduced myself to be, the us is the brand I'm trying to make. Why not just let all these perceptions of ourselves go and just exist? This pointlessness, his purposelessness, his meaninglessness is being misunderstood for a single goddamn fucking second. So bad, my friend, that banal lies and empty pretension are to be your only true friend, your only real companion, until death walks by and rips away your soul. If so, then I choose to just be. The only character I can truly play, little old me. For when I die, I will surely see. For when I die, I know I will see. For when I die, I hope I will see. For when I die, I have been to the place where I have seen nothing, nothing at all. Just waves and waves of black hitting the horizon. And I've stayed in that moment forever and a day, content in that one eternal moment. The end.
I love you.
Yo,
Yo,
that
dude.
was
I love
something,
you.
Keval. Like, I don't
I
know
love
how
you.
much of our YouTube friends heard of that, but
Oh my god.
Yo, bro, you can words. Oh, words are magic. Chris, you say it a lot. You do say it a lot, but there is actual living magic in the capability of saying a few sounds and vibrating the air at a certain frequency that
Yeah,
somehow pops
yeah,
images completely and utterly into my head. Like it's not something small. It's like you can actually see it in your head based on air vibrations, and that is
I
incredible.
I love you. I love you. Thank God, thank the universe that there are beings out there that express things the way you do. Thank
Thank you
God.
all, my friend. Thank you all. So yeah, man, that was the poem. Like you said, vibrations, magic, energy. So like I perform this poem a lot in my streams, okay? And like so when you're introducing yourself to someone and you become that person, that person. And then you realize your innate magicalness, and then you just get taken away on that journey. So the same thing happens to me with this poem every time. And somewhere in the start where the ripples part is happening, my magic, I feel like it is slowly simmering. And by one paragraph, I just go on a memory blank. Like then I have no idea what's happening.
dude, like I'm genuinely serious in saying this as well, Keval. Like I felt like in a psychedelic state of mind listening to your poem. Like almost in the state of mind you would go into when you're like in a
The
psychedelic
dance.
like trip. Yeah, like the dance, the flow, the
Dance.
feeling of that energy, that moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to capture, man. And like even when I say that's what I'm trying to capture, that like creates too much of an eye, which like I almost want to distance myself from, because I know you guys get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
You have to be
I
so
look
you have
at
to be so
me, look
careful.
at me, look
You have to
at
be so
me trying to capture it.
you have to
Yeah,
be
sorry,
so
you were saying.
careful. You have to be so careful with that notion of ego that tries to worm itself inside. Be very
Yes,
careful of that.
yes,
You have
and
to humble
especially
yourself.
feelings.
You have to humble yourself in the sense that despite the incredible art that you have created, you are still no different from every other human being, and that's where it becomes very difficult as a practitioner of art.
Yeah, those are very, very wise and very profound words that I need to listen to again and again.
dude, everybody does. Everybody does. I
Yeah,
was I was
yeah,
talking about ego and that I was actually sitting recently and like sitting actually this morning and thinking about how our world has come to be where it is, where everybody needs everything and everybody tries to get as much as they can from everybody else. And I came to the conclusion that, as many of us have done over and over and over in our lives, is that the moment the ego gets too big, narcissism takes over, and then it's the end.
It's the end. It's the actual end.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Cardi B or a rapper, you know.
Yo, nah,
And rap,
dude.
rap is a funny thing because rap is actually something called rhythm and poetry.
Yeah, literally, dude.
And the funny thing is, they took poetry and they raped it. So majority of the rappers out there in the world, they completely misinterpreted the whole notion behind rap. It's supposed to be rhythm and poetry. What they transformed it into is rhythm and money. Rhythm and money, rhythm and sex, rhythm and being,
bitches, rhythm and
rhythm and
cars,
ego.
rhythm and yeah, dude, rhythm and guns. Don't forget the guns.
But like, let's just with like that Donald Glover song, right? Like, we are talking about ego. Look at what happened with their own community because of it, right? Like, they hate the caricature they've become, but they can't change it right now. So, like, as we're talking about the ego, that's the problem with the ego right there. You know, that's the real thing. Like, you know, the ego will corrupt your best quality, because at one point of time rap was what gave the black community power. You know, they gave them self-identification, and then slowly from that it gets turned into the stupid bullshit that we see right now.
Yes, yes. It was supposed to be a movement of extreme beauty, you know, extreme empowerment, and it turned into such a filthy piece of shit. I don't know how it happened, but I
It
guess
was money,
that's
dude.
that's
It was. It
the
became like a
corruption.
cash cow. That's the thing. That's how it happened.
The corruption of something that was supposed to be a movement of justification, of acknowledgement, of making people realize that there is so much more to human beings, not just black human beings, you know. But that was their way of telling other humans that we are also human, and then it turned into something filthy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what snapped, what clicked to make it so vulgar, so juvenile in a sense.
I always wonder how that happens, because it happens in lots of fields. Something starts out quite beautiful, and then slowly over time, as more and more people add to it, it gets bad.
Because
Yeah, because
it's not the original artist, it's now just a copy of it, and the copy will never ever be.
the crowd dumbs it down. Every new person that gets added, they come with a simplification rather than observing the picture as it is. So you multiply the simplification like 1,000 people, 50,000. You know, you keep on going over it, and then yeah.
Yeah, and the problem as well with that simplification, like sometimes there's one like person in that group that forms a simplification that appeals to all of the people, and then that simplification almost gets like strengthened, and people become obsessed with it, and they become like identified
Yeah,
with that.
that's true. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, I was.
It
Yeah.
becomes mainstream
Hmm.
when the original never became mainstream. It was the copy of it.
Yeah, and that is the saddest thing when it happens, because you know, like the original thing got trampled over, and the worst aspect of it gets taken up and propagated, and you're like, universe, what message are you trying to send me? Like, I love you, but sometimes you are a hard mistress, my friend. Hard
Hristian,
mistress.
what these words, dude? I've never heard someone talk like
A
that.
mistress will never be the original lover.
No, I mean a mistress in a BDSM point of view.
Exactly
Like
the
that.
same. Even in that same point of view, a mistress will never be the original lover.
Interesting.
So, in the case of
Ah,
life, who was the original lover then? In your opinion?
It's lost. It's lost to memory, my friend.
Lost to memory.
It's lost to memory, and it's only those that are truly willing to seek out the originality. Those are the ones that will get it, but they are very few and far between.
The funny thing I wonder about when you start talking about what it was is I wonder, you don't really get to a point where you stop appreciating what it currently is. I wonder, do you think the need is there for looking back on things when we lose the way? When things navigate and they veer too far, I think it is genuinely time to take a step back and actually go and look where things went off the rails. I saw something the other day, literally this morning, where I don't know. I'm not going to take it to political, but I'm going to use it as a good example. I saw like this guy did a diagram of the relationships of political people in America, and the first one he did was in 1980. And in 1980, it's like this diagram with all obviously blue Democrats, red Republicans, and the entire thing is like one blob. The blob is red, blue, all interconnected and everything. 1995, they're a little bit separate. 2012, there is only one connection keeping blue and red together. And I think that's sort of the point I'm trying to make, is where you start losing your way as things and time progresses, because time is hard. Entropy fucking is a bitch. It causes everything to go to disarray. So it is the natural point of things to change and go a little awry. I think it's an important thing as, yeah?
Sorry, like Keval, like I muted you because you have a little bit of an echo on your side. Like maybe if you drop the speaker volume a little bit.
Okay, I have an echo.
Yeah, like just a little bit when we talk, it can sound like there's like a little bit of a double thing happening.
Okay, wait. Let me just.
Like it already sounds a little bit better. I can't hear
Alright,
myself
how about
anymore. Like, can you try and talk, Yuan?
Yeah, and so what I was saying is...
Perfect.
yeah, I can't hear anything anymore. So what I was saying is basically taking something in entropy will cause things to actually go to disarray. And I think it's an important part of humans and things that are conscious and that are not outside of the universe, but have the ability to look at the universe from another perspective, to sit back and go, you know what, that's not right. We've lost the way there suddenly. Where the fuck did that go wrong? How do we fix it? Climate change is another good example of that right now. We're kind of ignoring it because we're like, yeah, it's what it is. It's the thing that's going on now. But you have to take that step back and go, oh, fuck. What the fuck are we doing? And so, yeah.
I ask myself that question a lot, dude. Like, I feel like there's this genuine thing of like, I feel the only way we can really save ourselves is going to be through the utilization of like technology as well. So like we've already developed like bacteria and fungi that can eat plastics now. So we're at that point. And we already have the capacity to carbon capture. We already have the technology to clean our oceans. It's literally about getting to a point in which either our governments or the people as a whole tax the people that are making exorbitant amounts of money and use that tax to save our planet. Like, I feel like it's no longer a thing of like, because we normal people, me putting it in quotation marks, like we have at most like enough expendable money to survive for a year. We don't have enough expendable money to sponsor $1 million expedition to clean the oceans. But there are people that do have that money. And when you have so much excess that you literally don't even have the capacity to spend it in your lifetime, why?
Why are you still
Why
sitting
the
with
fuck?
it?
Why?
Did you see the payout
Why?
happened in the divorce for Bill Gates and his wife?
No, I didn't. Like, it's probably like $120 billion or something.
Yeah, they split it half. So both of them are now $60 billion worth.
Yes.
What the fuck do you need
If you have,
that amount of money for?
I think we should like set some rule. Like, if you hit $1 billion, you like win. They give you a little crown, like a medal they put around your head. They're like, and we fucking celebrate. I'll come to your celebration. I'll drink your wine. I'll be like, yeah, you billionaire. Now let's save the planet. Why? Why 60 times billionaire? Why?
If we really inquired how they got to that 1 billion, you really wouldn't want to meet that person.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the
I
most of
agree.
the people
I
who
agree.
get that, they've gotten it through nefarious means. That's how capitalism is engineered.
I wish you were wrong, bro. I
wish too. I so wish you were
So,
wrong.
like, I don't agree completely, and I don't know if this is me fanboying or not, but I have some respect for what Elon Musk was able to do, right? And I believe he's kind of like anti these normal rich assholes, because he's literally kind of like, he has Asperger's, so like on the spectrum of not knowing necessarily how to fit in socially. So he quite literally is
Okay, but
different when it comes to...
wait, but like, I really want to talk about this because you brought up
Please.
Elon Musk. So this is a beautiful point. So when it comes to money, right, or when it comes to anything that you once acquire and it shapes your mindset, the thing is that you cannot go back to the perspective you have. Like, I was talking to my girlfriend about this yesterday. Like, she was talking about like a firm, acting all pricey with me. And I said, when you have that much money, you are going to act pricey. Like, that is the nature of things, right? So even Elon Musk, like, you look, for example, what he's done to his own unions in Tesla. You look at how he took over the patents for Tesla. So I'm not saying he will have certain beliefs that will, separate himself from the normal billionaire because of his syndrome. But I will say this, that even he as an entity, we cannot look to him as a savior of billionaires or anything
Hero.
like that. Because, yeah, as a hero, because just the entity, just the power that he has with that amount of money, that power itself is dangerous,
Dude,
So I understand completely where you're coming from as well, but like, let's just take into consideration like goals, and then why he is trying to accumulate this wealth. His goal is to create a spacefaring civilization, to save humanity in the case of disaster. Like that is what he's trying to do.
His goal, I think his goal is to spit in the face of all of his bullies in high school.
Dude, like, I don't think so, man. Like, legitimately,
why not both?
Yeah, why not both though, dude?
From Mars. Spit on my bullies from Mars. See that saliva droop all the way down.
It's gonna take so long to reach you, but fuck you. That's the point.
See, the thing is, I think it is a combination of a lot of things, and I think, look, Musk is a weird guy. The Asperger's is regardless. He even any billionaire that has the power with one tweet to crash a market is a little bit somebody that has a problem, and it's not. I don't mean it in the personality or that, but somebody that is that influential. It's so hard, and I promise you, I will suck at it if I get that much money to be completely unbiased. Like
exactly. It's the power. It's the hot seat. Like,
it's impossible. It's impossible.
I agree. And so I think he is the best billionaire that this planet has seen in a very long time.
Like, I think that's the point I'm trying to make as well, Ivan.
Yeah, no, it is.
There are a lot of billionaires we don't know about, like, secret billionaires that we, probably have no idea about.
Yeah,
let's be honest about that.
I agree.
well.
I agree with you, Keval, because you have no idea how many billionaires out there are probably actually trying to make a good difference, and they don't care for publicity. They don't care for acknowledgement. They are the ones that are pouring their money into things that can make this world better, and they're not getting acknowledged. I firmly believe in that, because that is the way that goodness works in this world. Evil works for acknowledgement. Evil works for being seen, being published in the journals out there in the world, being
Hyped
in
about.
social media and all of that. That's what evil strives for in the first place. Goodness doesn't. It doesn't care for that shit. It does things without the need for being spread globally, internationally. It doesn't care for that crap. It doesn't want to be acknowledged. It just wants to make a difference. And that's why I believe that our world has been progressing in the right direction with heroes that we don't even have a clue about.
No, I completely
Yeah,
agree. Our world has
yeah,
definitely been going in the right direction.
yeah.
Like, I'm definitely not going to disagree with you about the fact that there are many motherfuckers in the world that are actually trying to do a good thing. And I mean genuine people that I would absolutely love to shake hands with and tell them what a fucking great job they've been doing and to genuinely thank them. And I think that's evident in how most people act, how it is the only issue, and this is an issue that plagues humanity for as long as we can fucking remember, is that I don't remember what law it is, but it's the one that the smallest groups will always make the biggest noise. It's human nature that if you want a thing to be heard and you're in the minority, you make noise. And so I think we've got a warped perception of what is genuinely happening in the world and what is going good. I just think
Our
Yeah.
only warped perception is that success is in conjunction with fame.
I think that's a very good way of putting it. Because when you start focusing on hoping to be successful by how many people know you and what you've accomplished, that is an
I
issue.
think that is a fundamental and disgustingly sick symptom of humanity, is that we judge success based on fame. That is ridiculous. It is wrong.
And right
And
now, if you look at the way the systems are generated, fame is becoming more and more a social currency, like social media, right? Like the more fame
Yeah.
you have, the more power you have, you know? So
Yeah,
even if a
literally, dude.
person wakes up and, yeah, even if a person wakes up and, they have, let's say they're the ideal person, like all their self affirmation systems are in place. Just because of the fact that they have to, through work, through personal life, they have to engage in social media, like they will be taking in these conversations, like as we were talking about in the start of the stream. Conversation is magic, but also in the bad way. So when we're on social media, every single conversation that we hear, all these memes, all these ideas, they get into
memes.
us.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
You become what you
and it's
consume.
sometimes so exhaustive. Exactly, we become consumed by that shit. And like, I've often found myself, like staring at the phone at like some time, and like I have this moment, like there's something in me like screams out, why the fuck are you watching at this? And I always disengage, like always turn off my phone. But I hate the fact that I keep getting into those situations. Like like I just, I
I
don't know
think
what to call it, but like that's social media trap. That's all that it is.
I think what it is, and this is my opinion and why I think that every single person should have a Reddit account, and I don't think everybody should have Instagram accounts. And the reason I say this, the reason I say this to anybody that's gonna fucking want to crucify me for hating Instagram, is because Reddit is communities. You don't give a fuck who the person in the community is. You can, and a lot of people do, but that's not the aim of it. It's not to promote my shit. It's to promote a thing, an abstract concept of reality, such as something like r/wholesome memes. Wholesome memes is a place on the internet where you can go and you are guaranteed to feel good because people on there are kind, they're welcoming. You have an issue, post about it on there. I guarantee you'll get 1,000 people sending you private messages being like, bro, it's okay. Take a breath. Everything's going to be great. You go onto Earth porn and you see the most spectacular pictures of Earth you have ever seen in your life. And I think that reason, social media has this huge potential to enlighten when we do the
Yeah.
philosophical thing of
Evil comes first. Goodness comes second.
why?
I
What
don't
sense?
believe that, dude.
What sense, bro?
I don't
What
No,
know
I
about
don't
that.
believe in that either.
I
I
don't
believe
get
in that.
what
I
sense. You
believe
gotta
in this
explain,
start
father.
together.
It's one and the
It's a
same.
it's a the funny thing is it's one and the same. So you can counter that argument with goodness
Exactly.
comes. You can counter that
Exactly.
argument with saying goodness comes first, evil comes second.
I
But
think,
you know what? It's exactly the same argument.
So, like, actually,
So
dude, like in today's title, I said that in every lie there is still the truth, because you can technically take that lie and think the opposite of that, and that be your truth. So no matter what we say, technically the truth can still be deducted from that information, and
I
that,
think
dude,
Dude, I used to be a pathologic liar for so long. I completely agree with that title. Every lie has a truth inside it.
every truth has a bit of lie inside it as well.
And yeah, we can talk about me being a pathological liar as well. I don't mind. Like I'm honest about all my flaws and shit. So if you want to
I
make this
think,
that kind of a podcast, I'm up for it.
dude, I will tell you and I will sympathize with you. I think every single person at one point in their life lied a lot.
Mm.
And some people still do, some people don't anymore, but there was definitely a point in everybody's life where they didn't realize how bad lying for you is. I will freely
not
admit
just that, dude.
was
It
one
was
of my
just
flaws.
like when lying was a thing in my life as well. It was just easy. It was like it was
Yeah,
the
it's so
easier way
simple.
out, dude.
Bro,
It's
you're like
always
my
easy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always easy to be evil. It's hard to be good. And on that note, I'm gonna be leaving this podcast, and it was an absolute pleasure.
It was nice having
I'm
you
sorry.
here, Hristian.
Sorry to pull that card, but you guys continue if you need to. But for me, I will say that there is always a good and bad, and a
Okay,
bad and good.
actually, can I request something before you leave, Hristian?
Uh huh.
Can
One
you
poem.
read us a poem?
Yeah, I knew it.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
Pick your
In
fave.
that sense, it's actually very humbling that you guys should ask that. Uh, and it's funny because I just opened my phone and I was actually on my Google Docs with all the things that I've been saving up to this point. I picked one that might be appropriate for the situation. Are you ready?
Yep.
We're here with you.
Okay, it's called The Dying Fire. I am the fire. With fuel below I grow. I feed desire, dueling air with my glow. Crackling at my feet, such music to my ears, knowing that my heat will burn away the tears. No fears of dying with my coal. My soul, I'll eat it whole, exist with time I stole, from a role I never wanted, but I'll play until it's taunted, haunted by my bright light, until I sear away all sight, that the world pretends to own. Alone I will atone for all the sins of darkness sown into the fabrics of our bone. Hone this life of mine with glee, and know that I am free, unrestrained by decree, wild as can be.
Done.
Yes, dude. Like when I hear stuff like that, I just recognize so much of myself in like the soul essence, you know. Like I can see into your like brain and your like existence, dude.
I love that line about. Wait, let me. I went to a very quiet place so I could hear the poem better. Are you? Yeah, man. I love that line about the role I didn't want it, but I will play it until it's taunted.
Yes,
Like the
Yeah.
poem
right?
is still. Yeah, that poem is still like it's going backwards in my head again, and then I'm moving forwards to the part I like. But even though it's a poem about fire, I love how it was like a single breeze the way you read it.
Thank you.
I really think that a person's reading style says a lot about their soul as well, not just their words. So while
Absolutely.
my words, rage up and down, I love how you read it like a serene breeze, like just yeah, it's just rolling on, rolling on,
Thank
rolling
you.
on, rolling on.
It really
Yeah.
means the world from one poet to another. It really does.
Yes.
And
Yes.
thank you so
One
much,
poet
my
to
friends.
another.
And this was an amazing experience, and I hope to have many more on this podcast. I wish you guys all very much love and light, and we'll chat again soon.
Thank you
Cheers,
for
bro.
sharing
Adios, muchachos.
your presence with us, man. We'll see you again.
Enjoy your
Bye
day,
bye.
love you, man.
Yeah, we can still go, boys. Like maybe 20
We
more
can still
minutes.
go, right? You guys don't have a time limit, right?
Well, I mean, not really. Not longer than like 50 minutes, though. How long do
50
you want to
more
go?
minutes? Because
50 more minutes.
I love these kind of conversations.
Like, I can go for 50 more minutes if you really want to, Keval. Keval, sorry.
Yeah, see, we'll just keep it flow. We'll just keep it flow like we do best,
I
STR.
think that
The
would
We'll
be.
keep
moment,
it flow. We'll let it flow.
dude, the moment you're like this time, everything goes to shit. It is
Yeah.
ridiculous how quickly that happens. Like nah. So I just as down to keep the flow going and enjoying it, and there's so much shit to talk about, dude. Like it literally never ends. What was I having, dude? I had the most ridiculous meditation session the other day, and
Tell me.
it was like I don't know. Basically, I've designed this new place for me in my head where I want to go for meditation, and it's a flat sheet of glass ocean with on I don't wish I can describe it better, but with basically a Saturn-like planet on the right and everything, and it's my meditate. I don't know where in the universe it is, but it's somewhere. But anyways, I'm sitting down meditating, and then I'm just talking to myself, and I had this entire meditation session on how incredible our imagination is. And I know we've spoken about it before, but when you're actively sitting, talking, and being like, I want to go here and look at the sun, and your imagination goes, oh, sick. There's a sun in front of you, as literally real as the thing me looking around right now. I'm rambling about it, like literally
No,
just how incredible it is.
like it's something that Alan Watt said that really has now been resonating with me. You don't, he said this, like, you don't need a lot of money. All you need is a little bit of imagination. Because you can have all the money in the world,
Dude,
and if
I'm
you have no
laughing.
imagination, you're going to be stunted by that money. And it's like that imagination, dude, is like ever present in everything. And I believe that imagination is the capacity to create like God creates. Because again, the all is mental. God wouldn't create by using something outside of itself. God wouldn't create by procreation. So God would create mentally. And it's in that imagination that we create as well, dude. In that image that we've been we created, bro. And it's crazy, man. Because as you said, in a meditative state, you can go to places, dude. So, like, man, I think I feel more comfortable talking about it on these podcasts because there's like you one person listening right now. But, but, dude, I've been having some
Yeah.
really surreal meditation sessions as well as of late, especially with the breathing exercises, dude. It gets to the point where I no longer like get to exhaust myself, so I do that these in out, and I can go for like 50, for like 60 before I like almost like exhaust myself, and then I hold my breath, dude, and then like I go. Okay, so the weirdest one I've had, and what's weird about it to me now is that it's reoccurring, as I enter this room where there is this big flat table, and in this room there are these entities that sit around the table. And as I enter this room, they all turn their heads and they look at me. And then I start talking, dude, and I'm like, so, by the way, we live on Earth. Like, it's not as great as it can be. We want to fix things. Please help. And then, dude, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Why am I talking to these things? And then I, like, bring myself back. Dude, I breathe again. Dude, I mean, like, these breathing exercises have been trippy, dude.
Dude, I know I don't know how to describe it.
Before
Like
we go
something
on to
else.
another topic, I want to know what breathing exercises do you do because I'm heavily interested, and I'm sure whoever listening is too. Like, I want to know exactly what you do.
Basically, how I started doing it is you do 33 breaths. So all the way out, all the way in, and that's one. If you do that 33 times, on your last breath, you breathe everything out, like complete exhale, and you keep that void within yourself for as long as you can. Then, when you feel you can't keep that anymore, I breathe in once, breathe out, I breathe in once again, and then I try and fill myself with as much oxygen as I can, and I create pressure within my belly. And then I press, I literally compress my core, and I focus on my spine, and I imagine fluid pushing up from my spine into my spinal cord and up into my brain. And then I can literally feel this blood flow in my face. And then I keep that breath for as long as I can. I don't keep the pressure for that long, but then I keep that breath for as long as I can, dude. And then when I want to breathe again, you go for 33 again. But like these days, I go up to like 44 breaths, sometimes 55 breaths, and then holding as well, dude. It's
So
surreal.
the idea behind it, Keval, is that basically there was this study done recently in 2019 that showcased it might, we're going to say might because it's only one study and we can't 100% confirm it, but we might be able to control the amount of endogenous DMT production in our brains through breathing. So
Interesting.
It's a really cool idea. Endogenous, if you don't know what the word means, it means created internally. For anybody else that doesn't know it, so DMT is a molecule that your brain and the pineal gland naturally. And so the theory is that since the pineal gland is the place where all like video and sense, or not sensory, but all visual parts of the world come forth. So what you're currently seeing in front of you. Yeah. And so they're like, what if you could naturally pump up the amount of DMT in your brain through breathing? And that's what this breathing exercise is supposed to do. And I will say from personal experiences, it definitely does something. I don't know. I will not like 100% say that it's a DMT production. It might be oxygen asphyxiation as well. But what it does for your brain and your imaginary capabilities is ridiculous.
I was thinking it might just be oxygen deprivation.
So, like, the reason I don't believe it's oxygen deprivation is because they've done there's actually some studies that went into it as well. So, what's happening when you breathe like that, these deep out and in breaths, you're basically alkalizing your blood, which means that you have more oxygen in your blood than you usually do. And as a result of that, that literally shifts the pH balance of your body. So by then holding your breath, your body during that hold basically rebalances your pH level within your blood. And it's from that as well that you basically gain that breath hold. So there's no oxygen deprivation really happening. There's just a lack of breathing happening, if that makes sense.
Also, what you said about the push in the spinal level. So I do a lot of Kundalini meditation. I don't know how much you guys know about that, but like I said, it's very core essence. It's the basic. Like you have those 7 chakra points in your body.
Yep.
And
You're breaking up a little bit, Keval.
You try to unlock
them
each through meditation, right? So whenever we do Kundalini meditation, and especially right now, when firstly I was laughing when he was talking about his trip to the sun, because I was there tripping with him on the sun. and and like you guys were talking, and I was just like, man, the sun's surface is like Venus right now. I'm skating on the tectonic plates and all that shit. And you were describing the fluid thing, like I'm taking the pressure and I'm putting it into my spine and I'm throwing it up. I was actually able to do that just sitting on my chair, and I felt that surge of pressure. So I think what you're talking about is not just a breathing exercise, it's alkalizing blood plus, controlling that inner latent energy and turning into like one sort of a potential kinetic burst.
Dude,
if that makes sense.
Again, it's intention, man. It's like me focusing that like energy towards this point.
Exactly. Yeah. Focused energy. That's what we used to call key. So what key is people who had immense control of their latent energy, and people who were very sensitive to latent energy, and those who were able to feel it. And man, who knows, perhaps at some point of time, like historically, we had people who had such control over their receptors that they were able to do things that were literally magical. Who fucking knows?
I think we still have that capacity, dude. I just think it's hidden from us and we don't get taught how to use it properly.
I don't think anybody. I think there are very few people that truly understand how deep this goes. History's been pushed long, boys. Like the 12,000 years that humans have been around, enough humans have been here to figure things out. I just think the record keeping was so shit back in certain amounts of those times that we just like literally, who the fuck knows? There might have been people ridiculously potent, and there might still be, and it's just not general knowledge yet. Like I always have this thing of, yeah, the internet provides a lot, but that you have to put it on the internet. Yeah, somebody has to go and sit down and actually give it to the world. And if nobody's given that information to the world, then yeah, it's there. It doesn't mean it's not. It's just it's not available to everybody. And I really, really, really think that our ability to set intentions, at least let's take key just in your body. I don't mean physical expression of it yet. Let's just in your own body. I will 100% attest to the ability to control your own body via thoughts. And that is the reason I say that. First off, is because something as simple as lifting your arm. It's literally your brain controlling an aspect of your body, but you've done it a lot, and it's easy because it's like 1,000 muscles that you're used to moving.
So, Johan, I don't want to interrupt you, dude, but I want to do a very trippy thought experiment with you friends now,
sure.
because of what you just said about the arm picking up of, So, all of you friends, put your arm down on a table right in front of you. Now, imagine lifting it like telepathically. Feel the difference in that trying to do of like trying to just do something. How you do or how you use your energy when you actually lift your arm up, and how you try to lift your arm up if you try and like think of it as telepathically, right? Like lifting it with like some sort of force above it, or like strings being pulled on it. What does that make you feel, dude?
Tingly. My arm is tingling. Like someone's paying attention to it.
Because exactly, dude, because you know how to lift your arm up, but then trying to tell yourself to lift your arm up with your mind instead of lifting it up with your mind. Why? Why is that a thing that you can do?
Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, exactly.
The fuck is this body, bro? What the fuck is this thing? How the fuck does this entire thing work? Why can I do certain things and why can't I do? I love it. 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 It's such an enigma of a situation that we find ourselves in. This thing that is attached to us, that is us, that carries us around. Yet at the same time, it's not us at all. It's completely independent of us. It's different. It reacts without you consciously being made aware of it doing so. You don't feel your stomach or consciously think about your stomach digesting food. It handles it for you.
You don't beat your heart. You don't burn the sun. You don't blow the wind. You don't flow the oceans.
Okay.
It just happens.
There are 10 times more bacteria cells making up you than there are human cells.
Yeah, 90% of you is basically bacteria.
Just on the surface of that. So the ones on your skin, the ones in your digestive system, like we mentioned, and the ones fully in your entire body, there are 10 times more bacteria cells. So when we talk about the inner humanity, just on a basic bodily scale, we are more bacteria than we are us.
Dude, that's why I fully subscribe to the idea of I-awareness. You are nothing more to this entire universe than the awareness of experiences happening around you. You have influence on it. But the core principle of who you are is no more than the awareness of everything. And I did this with my mom. You can think back through all of your memories, all of them you've ever had, and you will only find one constant in it. And that is that you were aware of the experience happening. And that is...
And that's what you should become identified with as well, dude. And I wish, because people think like becoming identified with that awareness is you like somehow diminishing or taking away responsibility from your life. But it's literally you easing into understanding that you are that awareness, and this life you're experiencing because you want to, not because you
So
have
technically,
to.
there are three same people right now. Like when we're talking, there is no difference. We're just
Yes.
three awarenesses that are in different awarenessing. That's the
Yeah.
only difference.
Yeah. So, like
There is absolutely, yeah.
like the difference between me and you right now is some vibrating circles. Like they're vibrating at a little bit of a different frequency and made up of like a little bit different things, and that's it. That is the only physical difference between me and you, really. Yeah, it builds up and those little vibrations cause a lot more, but fundamentally we're only three awarenesses awarenessing at different rates, different places in the world.
So again, let's do another trippy thought
I get
experiment.
so
We can all
scared.
now
I get
just
so.
look at our own
Yeah, wait,
hands.
Sorry?
okay.
If we all
No,
just
No,
look at
dude,
if we
dude.
all just look
I'm
at our
just
own
tripping on
hands,
the thinking, everyone.
this is technically what we're all experiencing right now. The looking at of our hands. And it's the exact same, no matter what. Unless you don't have unless you like have one less hand, of course, or whatever, right? But for most humans, we can like confidently say this is regardless of what color you are, what race you are, what sex you think you are. Well, unless you're an alien listening to this right now. But looking at your
Hey,
hands and
bro.
just realizing that this is the thing that we use to interact with our world with, dude.
Dude, it is the thing that we use to influence the world around us, and we've gotten fucking good at influencing this material plane. It is fucking astounding to me, our capability. Like me, currently, right as we speak, I the other day was so funny. I'm learning how to code AI before varsity, and so far I have made John and Jim, and now I'm working on Oswald. John his task was to see how good he could get at recognizing faces. He got pretty okay. He could pretty accurately do it up to like a 99% chance. He was pretty good at recognizing what a face was and what a dog was. And then I tried teaching Jim to do Sudoku. Man, was he bad at Sudoku. Fuck me, that thing was so shit at Sudoku. I tried so hard, but I couldn't teach it how to do Sudoku. And the fact that I'm sitting here talking to you as I'm writing a thing to learn the shortest path from any point, and it's not just it's an algorithm that I have that's literally using electronic gates to mimic to either turn a switch on or off, and we can write. I want to call it semi-intelligent. I don't want to give it like it doesn't have I don't know if it has awareness. I can't really say, but it has the capability to learn, and that's where we've gotten. We our minds and our ability to create from them is so fucking ridiculous.
Absolute blessings, dude.
Dude. And did you see that fucking video I sent you about the colorblind guy?
Yeah, dude. Man.
Dude, so Keval, there's this I sent them a video I found on Reddit about this guy who for the first time puts on the yellow and blue colorblind glasses, and you see him looking at the world, and he walks up to like a plant, and he's like, "Bro, is this what you see the world as? What the fuck?" And that thing was so profound today because again it emphasizes the utter disregard for what you have. Bro, to see all the colors that we see is special. It is a gift and a privilege that we can see this range of colors. 90% of animals cannot do it. 99% of animals have monochromic eyes. They can only see black and white and gray. Oh, it hurts me that people do not appreciate what we have.
Gratitude is the most powerful energy,
in
man.
in this case, I want you to go on a thought experiment with me.
Okay,
Yes.
please.
There are some animals that actually do not have monochromatic vision, that see deeper shades than we do.
Yeah, like they have
So
trichromatic
imagine
vision. Oh, what's that one animal that has like
A
16
mantis,
million different colors? Mantis
a
shrimp,
mantis.
right?
Yep.
That dude sees like
yeah,
a constant ultra trip of a reality, man.
dude, that guy is tripping on LSD the entire time.
Yep.
Never stops, dude. Never, ever, ever stops. It's just like
That's
zong. Life is just like, look at us.
like there's a reason we have such a strong association with color and tripping and things like that. Like the other day I was eating a fruit, all right, and I started concentrating on its color while eating it, and like the taste, I went deeper into taste. Like usually what happens is once you start eating something, the taste wanes because you get used to it. But this time, because I'm visualizing the color of it, like I'm visualizing biting into it, the taste goes deeper.
Dude,
and and yeah, man, like imagine that 16 traumatic vision bug, whatever thing, just sitting there in a this is how I write my poem. I go, I think, and then I let go of the I, and then I am that bug.
yeah, dude. So there's literally, I talked about it in the last podcast, but there's literally a part of your brain called the thrombius or something like that. I googled it the last time, and it is responsible because, as great as our brains are, our physical meaty brains are still doing as much processing as it does at any given point is absurd. Like sleeping, I mean, like digesting, livering, running your body, blood, and everything. So it only has so much potential left for sensory information. So there's a part of your brain that literally regulates what senses it allows through to the rest of your brain. And that part of your brain, I don't remember the exact stats, but what that means is that part of your brain will only give you sensory information if you request it. Otherwise, it's just going to give you a bland generalization of the world so that you can keep living. So you actively sitting and focusing on the apple was letting the infinite taste of an apple more through to you. And that's why you can actually taste more. I've been doing it every time now. I sit, I close my eyes to diminish that part of my senses completely, and then I'll smell something and then concentrate on taste, only on taste as my sense, and then eat it. Bro, everything tastes different. Whatever you think something tastes like, it tastes different. It tastes way deeper when you actually taste something rather than just glossing over it because you're like, oh, I know what an apple tastes like. Me.
So, like, I'm really curious about this as well now because I had this really trippy experience, like, what was it, yesterday, where I was walking back to the copy, and I was like, literally, there was like this little bit of a ruffle, and I felt kind of just not balanced, and I felt like I was living in a place of judgment, and I literally sat down and I rolled myself a joint and I wrote forgiveness on like my Garrick. Rolled it up, started smoking it, and I was like walking to the gate, and then I walked from the gate to like the little turn, and then I walked from the turn all the way to the copy, and I like kind of found myself there, and I was like, here I am. And while I was walking and smoking this joint, not only did I like feel like I went through this forgiveness of like my parents, but also of the like past bullies I've had and the past horrible teachers that I've had, and I just was like named them by name and said like, I forgive you for whatever it is you did. And I got to the copy and I like went and I sit on that like chair, the space chair, and it was like freezing, like literally freezing cold, dude, like icy. And I was looking into that blue sky, and while I was having like this feedback loop of feeling this freezing rock underneath me and looking at this blue sky, the sky became bluer and bluer and bluer, dude. It's like it almost started like pulsating in like a neon blue way, dude. And I felt like it was just this synesthesia, this association, like becoming aware of the coldness and then what this blue means to me and the blue being associated with cold, dude. And again, it's like the same thing, that is that like, oh, I know what blue looks like, right?
And then There's also another part of your brain. I don't remember what it is, but it's the main part of your brain that LSD affects. It's not just your
We
serotonin.
don't know what anything looks like.
We have no
We
idea.
don't know what any of this thing.
Not
Your
really.
default
We
mode
go
network?
in with an assumption. Our brain essentially is like a parent, like a very concerned parent trying to tone all of it down. It's like, you can't handle it, baby. You can't handle it.
It's too
Trust me,
much.
I've tried it.
I completely agree with you, dude. It's literally like that. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is too much. Whoa, slow down, slow down.
And I'm one
Yeah,
of those kids that are just like, as soon as my parent looks away, is like, or jumps straight into the like nonsense. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at me, I'm like all covered in mud now.
But so
but
Esther, you
that's
told
it's
yeah,
like when we talk about when the first philosophy is discovered, and is the as the individual truly discovers philosophy, and they realize that all philosophy eventually leads you to the idea that yourself is the true place for improvement to start. And for improvement means that, okay, I have to deal with the self, right? And I am my own limiter. I am the one that is judging myself. I am the one that is creating these evils, that is creating these trappings, that is creating the limitation. That is why I find the idea that letting go of the I so freeing, because we attach so much imaginary power to this creation. The I is so powerful, the I is so almighty, and it's consciousness, even in its most magnificent state, at the end of the day is just the observation of reality, and it is there where the beauty and the magic is. It's
exactly.
that it carries with itself the universal juice. It's not us. There is no thing as us re- that is should be made given credit for this. And yeah.
Dude,
I'm
like
sorry. I just felt something, and I just went on something there.
that
Never
is
apologize, man.
dude, no, I never. If something, I wouldn't call him a friend, but something some guy once told me was what he found so intriguing about myself, like talking to me, was like, what you do is you share all your thoughts. And I think that is one of the most important aspects to people. People become so scared of just whatever's on their brain, just sharing it when you're in a conversation. Bro, what the fuck do you mean you're scared to share more of yourself with everybody? What, huh? No. Talk, bro. Like, if you have an idea, share it. That's why you're in a conversation. So exactly that thing you're talking about is you think you limit yourself so much because you're so too scared of what other people or yourself is going to think about what you're doing. And the
Yeah,
freeness,
yeah,
the, that freeness of the I as an awareness, and the way you put it as the I, or the lack of an I, the looking of and the observation of reality as being the beauty, is you suddenly go, wow, it actually doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter that much what other people think. I am expressing my reality to these people around me. Do they want to see it? Great. Do they not? Fuck you. I don't care. And that, I think, is a very, very big part about understanding and the self-improvement of philosophy.
I'm grateful to see it. Like, I don't know about it carrying on or like becoming widespread, but I am at least grateful to have you guys talking about it. And like, I do think that in some way it is being talked about more. In practice, of course, it is, because like, let's be honest, like, even as we would say, it's I just went into it in like 5 minutes ago in the conversation as I was sharing it. I'm still doing it right now as I'm saying it's a constant thing. You constantly have to be there, and even as I'm saying the word constantly, I feel like, no, it's so easy, right? It's so
Dude,
paradoxical as well.
dude, it's so hard, yet it's so easy. That's the paradox of this thing. It is so, so simple to let go of the I, and then sometimes you fucking cannot do it. No matter how hard you try, you're staring this thing in your face, and it's just like, nah, I can't, not right now. And that is something that I also, Estin, you talking about forgiveness, man. I had this huge, huge meditation thought on it as well, on the importance of actually listening to your fucking thoughts. It is no use to shoving ideas and thoughts that you have away and ignoring them. That only bubbles and builds and explodes. When you have a bad thought or you're feeling off, dive into it. Dive as deep down as you can into that cesspool that is that poor emotion and find out why the fuck you're feeling it. That's
Fuck yeah, I agree with you so much, brother. Brother, what is your name? I'm sorry, I missed it, but I have no shame in asking for it again.
My name is Johan.
Yahan, what does it mean? What does it mean?
It means my mom told me it last night again. It's I don't want to say the mystical, but it's something like that. So I'll Google it very quickly because I'm actually now very curious. You've reminded me of the importance of remembering it.
Yeah, also because you were talking about remembering your own thoughts, my friend. So you should remember the meanings as well.
Wow, dude. I love you, man.
Yeah. No, I asked because I feel like in this conversation I've really gotten to know another, like as me and Estian were saying, like a spear brother. Like,
dude,
that's exactly. That's all I wanted to say.
It means God is gracious.
Johan, God is gracious. That is the truth.
Dude, there's so much to this fuck up and amazingness that is life. And the reason I use fuck up is because this thing's so confusing. Like, every time you think you've made headway, you're like, oh, the punch hurt. Fuck.
Every time you think you made headway, you meet your father.
Well, don't poke at me now, dude. I'm angry lion tonight, dude.
Come on, you all have father issues.
Hristian, you're just like, don't poke at me. I love you, man.
Keval knows, like, we share so much. You can start seeing into someone's soul, dude.
Dude, you can. You can. You get to know people. It's that. I also had a thing last night. I went upstairs to go smoke a joint outside, and it's full moon right now here in South Africa. It probably would be full moon everywhere, but now that I think about it, but yeah, ignore my stupid ass comment. But anyways, I went upstairs and I saw the spider building its web as I'm busy smoking a joint, and then I came back downstairs and I sat down to do my meditation. And I was like, I want to go see if I could see the spider again. And so you visually imagine going and walking up the stairs and going to where this place is, and you can see this thing moving and acting. And now you know it's just your imagination. But in the same vein, you can take your imagination and throw it into a video game and completely forget about reality because your brain's only going to siphon out all of reality and only show you the game, so that literally will become your reality for a while. And that ability to shift your mind to different places in the universe outside of your body and it be indistinguishable from if you were inside your body is just as of like a what the fuck moment for me.
It's like what we were talking about God, right? Like if God would be using a mind, like if God truly wanted to enter creation mode, right? He would enter a human brain. Because that's the ultimate possibility generator, right? The only difference between us is the amount of sensory reception we can take, the amount of connections each brain can make. That is where we lag behind, say, a true God, who know we would see everything in every node and everything towards the end of universe and time and whatever. But like as you said, like you created that spider game in your head, and that is not just indistinguishable for reality. There is, I like to think, there's a fucking version out there of a parallel universe that just got built as you are thinking it.
Dude, I
like
would not be surprised.
as soon as you think something, there is a parallel universe number 28964 blah 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 that is built, that is completely like yours, except what you thought is existing there right now.
Dude, that the parallel universe theory is so cool to me because I don't know if you've ever had that where you'll make a decision or you'll do something, walk past something. Like sometimes I'll walk past something and then image will just flash into my head of like me knocking over a cup. I don't know why, but it'll sometimes happen. And then I'll be like, I guarantee you that just happened somewhere else. Like a version of me just knocked over that cup. I really, really do think the fact that you have this capability of imagining things before they happen, there is a very big likelihood that everything you're currently experiencing is parallel to each other, and we're just living in the version of ourselves that is making the choices we're currently making. And all the other versions of ourselves are also only making their best choices and believing the exact same thing that we are because it's reality.
Okay, so thought experiment time, boys. All right.
Cool.
Imagine this as binaries, 1, 0, and zeros, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every one creates a chain of different ones and zeros and like a tree. And each and every person, each and every individual, each and every node, the choices that we make, they spread more. Now, as this was going on, with the addition of consciousness and with the addition of choice, imagine the explosion that must have happened. The exponential amount of possibilities that now can get created because some motherfucker just now realized that it can choose. It
Yeah,
can choose whatever it wants to do and it can choose whatever it wants to make. So
that's
like,
actually insane. Like the tiny choices you make every day, like putting your blanket in a different spot, is a different possibility.
yeah, yeah. and
Quick,
and the moment conscious choice came into being, like before, until at one point all of this universe was not dead, but it was just, can we call it life,
well,
nature built?
I feel like I don't know. That's the question. I feel like it's just physics. It's just this the fundamental portion of physical reality is physics, and it's the reason that things would do it. But physics is quite predictable.
Yeah, exactly. But like it was physics with like a primordial life to it because, okay, so yeah, this podcast I can share things. So during an acid trip.
Yeah, like this one person is listening right now won't say anything. Shh.
Yeah, the one or two people, it's really okay.
So during an acid trip, I became time. And when you're time, it's so exhaustive, the process of just layers of dirt getting added to a place, right? And at the place I was, I'm just standing there and I'm watching the dirt stack up. I'm watching the trees build, wither, and this entire location get, terraformed, literally. And it reminds me of like one of those, how do I even explain it? Like, one of those paint drying but very fast videos. Like there are waves
Timeline.
and waves of it and happening.
Yeah.
And and like it was so living, is what I'm trying to say. Like even though we call it lifeless, it was so alive. It was like just a primordial life. Do you get
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I think that's the right way to put it because it's whenever you take something and you fast forward it to a time that scale that we can understand because we live for 100 years, which is nothing in the universe's grand
Yeah,
scheme of scale. If
yes.
you take our planet and you fast forward where every second in a video is 1 million years in Earth's history, you'll watch like Earth become completely transformed from a rock to a molten rock to an exploding rock to a rock with fungus on it to a rock with dinosaurs on it. From there, an asteroid smacked it. Everything died again, and it got rebuilt up, and now we're here. Like I
Like
completely agree with you.
everything will make sense to you.
Yeah, I completely. There is kind of this primordial continuation of life of something. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not life. It is this primordial life of and continuation of just things, like the universe dying out slowly, the suns exploding over thousands, if not trillions of years, and there it fizzles. there is where our brains stop being able to comprehend what the fuck our universe is. And that is this kind of like push, I feel, that people who have really understood, not even understood, who have seen what reality can be, is pushing to understand. It's that point where your brain goes, nope, I don't get it anymore. It's that point that we keep
Okay,
pushing.
okay, okay. We're astronauts, all of us, all of
Yeah,
different kind. What do you, what's your take on the beyond? Tell me. Come on,
the the
let's
the
boogie.
the,
Let's boogie.
the afterlife. The
No,
or
not the after, the be all, end all, whatever you think is beyond the gate, beyond the universe, beyond dimensional. Like,
Mm,
you get
dude,
what I'm asking?
yeah, I know. I understand what you're asking. I think my best explanation for what I have is, I think it is some type of multi-dimensional goop. I don't know how to explain it. It's literally a I can't comprehend it. I cannot form the words to explain what I think it is, because yeah, it's either there's two things. Because actually,
Okay.
the thing is, when you die, I think that we're talking about, I know, beyond reality, beyond everything. But in the
Hmm.
case of you dying, I think that you stay wherever this consciousness resides. It's this your There's some place that is outside yet inside and is everything. That's why I call it fourth or fifth dimensional. It's something that encompasses all of us and yet is
Hmm.
everything. And that's why I call it goop as well, because it's not a rigid shape. It's this ever flowing, ever changing energy that continuously creates, breaks down, builds up, changes. It's kind of like our sun's history, where it keeps fluctuating and spitting things out here. And that's the best understanding I have of what happens beyond this, beyond 3D space, beyond the universe. I think it's this fourth dimensional infinite reality goop. And that is the best
I
way I
see it.
can explain it.
I see it now. I see it now. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for creating. Thank you for picking those words. I know it. I know how much time it took for those. How much thinking, how much creating, how much criticizing, critical analysis. So thank you, truly.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for actually caring enough to question. Now I have a question for you that I've wanted to ask for a while. Two, actually, in fact.
Yeah.
One,
All right.
what are you studying? Are you learning anything? Did you study? What is currently happening in life?
Okay. So life-wise, what I wanted to be when I started education was a psychologist. So
Okay.
my bachelor's was psychology, journalism, and English. It was a triple major. Uh,
Fuck.
then I discovered poetry, and I realized also at the same time that the fields that I wanted to get into are dead. That all these, all the common and normal fields, they are dead. Like psychology and journalism, they are both dying, and there is no amount of overhaul I can do that can change that. Because like I can give my whole life into these fields and nothing will change. But I have a gift in poetry that can do something perhaps. That time I was still in the can do something phase.
Dude, that is beautiful. That is actually beautiful, because as sad as it is to say that journalism is dying, it really is. It's absolutely dead already. Nobody really goes for journalism anymore. It's now just stories and fake news and trying to get headlines. And the ability and what you can do with poetry to touch people's lives on an intimate level is so much greater than anything I think you could have accomplished, or yet not could have, would have, because you could and can do everything, but I think you would have limited yourself so much. So I think it is so beautiful that you made that choice for poetry.
Thank you, man. But it's very tough because firstly, I also come from India, where the forcing people into a profession that makes money mindset is very high. Like, in most Western countries, like people are at least allowed to make their choice, and here that notion really isn't there. Like your family is in most cases expected to have a complete say. So I'm lucky to have a family that allows me to have some say in my life. Like that's something I need to say.
Dude,
Happy for you as well, man. Like
Sorry,
having
what did you say? Sorry, I didn't quite get it.
I said I'm happy for you as well, man. Having that as like a
Thank
child,
you.
having just some creative freedom, having your parents allow you to make some of your own decisions, dude, is something that I think sometimes I take for granted myself as well. Like it's something I'm eternally grateful for my parents as well.
Yeah, I mean they do. They allow me and like they push me ragged. Like they're very productivity and capitalism oriented as well. But they do. I must be honest. Like they have allowed me a lot compared to like the regular child in India. Like dude, the average Indian child, if you look at their situation, is so repressed on so many levels. You guys have no idea. Like I'm being honest with you. You guys have no idea.
You can tell us,
and
man.
and and the thing is like I'm trying to find the vocabulary for it because the thing is like they're repressed not just on an intellectual level but also on a social level, also on a thought level. Like they just don't have the resources to think as they're supposed to. And like one of the things I'm really lucky to have in my life is a lot of travel, a lot of exposure to different thought patterns, to different people, to different places of learning, which really gave me the knowledge and the wherewithal of how to speak and how to expand upon my ideas. But that's what, when I look at my country, when I look at what's happening to it, I see so many people who are just made blindlessly. That's what I see in them. And it's ironic that people in my country fucking pray cattle so much because that's what they look like to me. They're cattle. They pray to cows so much that their fucking people have become cattle.
I like I I wish that that wasn't a sentiment for everywhere, but it might it like I can't speak for India. It might be horrible there, but it is a thing that I've noticed everywhere. Like it's something
Yeah.
that's so being like, and it's being forced to, or what I read, or I saw this thing the other day where the school system, at least in America, hasn't changed since the Industrial Revolution. And what that tells me is during the Industrial Revolution, people were brought up to go to work in a factory. It was all you thought about. It was how you were taught. Your emotions were repressed. Your thinking ability was repressed. You think in this way. That is how you get taught at school. School doesn't teach you passions, doesn't teach you creative thinking. It teaches you how to be a good fucking worker, how to do nothing but wage slave the rest of your life and die. That is what
So
school.
a worker isn't even a living being. A worker is essentially a tool. When you say a
Yeah.
factory, the idea of a factory, what it introduced is that a person isn't a person. They're a fucking commodity. They're a fucking number, right? And you're expected to work until you die. So essentially, because the system of capitalism, because the system of education hasn't changed, and because anytime anyone tries to change it, people get their panties in a bunch.
Yep.
we
Yep.
still we still operate with 7 billion people treating themselves, guys. No one is forcing this on us. That's the beautiful part. No one
Yep.
forced this on us. We did
Yep.
to ourselves, that we chose to view ourselves as tools, as
Yeah.
cattle,
As
as
small
mindless sheep.
tools at top of that as well, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah.
people diminish themselves so much, dude. Like human beings, dude. Like we're actual magical creatures. We are special. We are special, dude. Like maybe not special in the grand scheme of the universe, but special in the time that we're in. And that's what's most important.
Dude,
Using your time
like,
Special
productively
in
is
what
very
we
important.
collect, in what we share.
Hmm.
Special in what we collect and in what we share.
that is so true.
That is what we are special in what we collect and what we have the potential to share. If we are mindful of those things, and like that's what you said. If we are truly, that's when I call you my spear brother, because that's when you said, like, if I'm truly with each and every word of my fucking thought, otherwise it's wasted. And you need to go to the end of that thought, to the last bitter end, like when when your girlfriend calls you with a new lover or something like that, and you think the most hateful things. No matter what example I can give for when negativity strikes up or whatever happens, you need to go to the most bottom end of it to truly get to know with like that ego spirit that exists in you, because
Mm,
it's us that is doing it to everyone out there as well. And
yeah.
like, I really want to figure out why. I really want to know why.
Dude, that is their human nature is the second biggest quest in life. Trying to understand why we do things to ourselves in the worst manners. And I think it does come down a lot. And 99% of the time it always leads back to that fucking ego. The thing that's like, yeah, but I can do that better. Or yeah, but why didn't you do this for me? Yeah, but why didn't we do this? Why don't I have that? Why is she better than me? That continuous cycle where you have to understand that the older thing of we're all one thing. This entire existence is only one reality, being experienced in different ways and being made of with the best knowledge that we have been given. That is the saddest part about it, but it is. Nobody willingly makes themselves a worker. You are stuck in thought patterns that you do not even realize have gotten you to be a worker. And that is the scary thing. The ability to shift your mental or your mind to anywhere in the world is also our biggest downfall, because it means that you can trap yourself without being able to see your own issues. And that
Exactly. They're never given the ever. They're never allowed to see themselves ever. So just like you know, constantly from the moment they're born, they're fed bullshit, fed bullshit, fed bullshit, fed bullshit, and by the time they start thinking their own, they just take these patterns for themselves, and sooner or later it becomes so habitual that even if you try to break them, they get so ingrained to them, like that it snaps back into routine. And that trying to break them, it actually makes that routine even more stronger.
yeah.
And I've seen it happen to not just a lot of people
Be
who
right
are
back, boys.
like, what?
So
Be right back.
okay. Go
Yeah,
Keval.
I've seen it happen to not just a lot of people who are in my own vicinity, man. Like, even those who are engaged, as they say, in spiritual or religious pursuits, but like in reality are just using it to fuel their own ego patterns. That
Mm,
makes absolutely no changes to their behavior, Estian. It's like
dude,
someone says I have an ego death and comes out and is the exact same asshole that they were before.
dude. You like, as somebody who has genuinely experienced ego death to the point of where you no longer know who the fuck you are, you cannot come out of it the same. When you have had your entire being literally layer for layer ripped apart in front of you and picked apart and thought of what the fuck have you been doing, you cannot come back the same. And that's why a lot of the people, at least what I've seen, people who claim to be highly spiritual or religious or that, normally aren't. Weirdly enough,
Yeah,
people who are
yeah, they
very
are.
loud about it, or it's the same thing we had about the billionaires. The people who are really loud about it, who are loud about their spirituality and religion, are the people who are using it for political and power gain. People who are truly spiritual and religious don't want to talk about it because you don't need to. If you come to me with a question, we're going to talk about it. But
So,
I don't
like,
need to
I
force it.
I do have an objection to that a little bit, Johan, and I feel
Okay.
maybe a little bit biased as well, because I do believe, like, let's say for instance, Alan Watts or Terence McKenna, right? Like potentially spiritual beings as well. And there's one thing that Terence McKenna said. Well, no. Was it Terence McKenna? Either Terence McKenna or Alan Watts. No, it's Alan Watts. Sorry, I remember now. Where he said, like, I do this, like I'm talking about the things I'm talking for the same reason that the birds are chirping. I enjoy it, right? There's like the enjoyment in sharing these ideas and talking about these philosophies and like just understanding in some way your own spirituality by vocalizing it and then having other people like influence that at the end of the day as well. I don't think talking about it necessarily has to degrade it, is what I'm trying to get at.
No, that I agree. I don't mean it at all in that way. What I mean in the way is that people that walk around with either like the Bible under their wing or their religion painted on their foreheads, a lot of the time those people are not doing it for the joy of it. They're doing it because, look, it's a statement. Look at me. I've seen a lot with Christianity, bro. People that claim to be so Christian and then yet will continuously belittle, degrade, and not do anything to help. So what I mean is, when we talk about this, when we talk about our things, you and I aren't doing this, or we haven't started this podcast to force our ideas on people. We do it because, holy fuck, look at the world. Bro, look what the fuck is happening. That is why we do it. That isn't us forcing or expecting. That is us enjoying and trying to share experiences with people. You can do whatever the fuck you want with this. If you don't like me, I don't know, write me a hate email. I don't really care. I'm sorry. I'm doing this because the joy of the world, rather than I want to get somewhere. I want to teach somebody this. I want power. I want people to recognize me. I don't really care. And so
No, but I kind of agree with like both of what you say. Like I kind of fall on the middle here, in that I like that bird thing is something like Estian will know. Like this is something I've written poems about multiple times, and like I felt such synchronicity as he was sharing it. It was like, Estian, it is me. It is I who said this. but 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 like is in when it in terms of sharing, like as we were talking about people being blind, right, and like people being deaf and like people being caught in patterns, I really do think that people like us have like I called us peer brothers, is because in a way we were awakened by something else beyond us. We did not discover this for ourselves either. We did not wake up and were like, guess what? I just realized that I don't exist. No, that didn't happen. Through some beautiful through some beautiful transcendental, in activity, through some insight, through some conversation, through something read, it was shared to us, and I do believe that it is part of our duty to share it back to people who are truly there to listen. I really do believe that.
I do as well,
Exactly.
man.
So yeah, that's why I land in the middle. That yeah, I agree with you that it's not our business to profit, or maybe profit from this or something like that. Like, yeah, I need money to survive, but like I'm
Yeah, I
not
need
gonna
money,
start
bro.
saying, "Hey, transcendence for a buck, guys, come
Yeah.
here and
If you pay me $5 a month, you go to heaven. I promise. You just
Yeah,
pay me $5. Who knows? I mean, if you die, then you'll know. But until you don't die, you won't know.
Hey, come on, man, it's heaven. It's
$5.
heaven. You have infinite upside and you land on $5. Come on, STR. Show some business. Show some business sense. Clearly, you're
actually,
not built for
actually,
capitalism. You're not built for
$500. Now that I really think about it, $500. I mean, like $500. What's $500 for a great afterlife? Come on, man. Like my PayPal is.
See, I'll tell you capitalism. I'll tell you how capitalism works. You put a subscription model. You give a subscription model for heaven. Then you build a tier system.
Yeah,
So
where
depending
other
on the
people
tier
get more
system,
heaven than other heaven.
Do
Like
you know what that is?
exactly,
There's
exactly.
something like that. There
Yeah,
actually is a religion like that, and it is called Scientology. And nobody should ever join
Oh,
Scientology.
They do
Ever.
that?
bro. Bro,
I accidentally
Scientology.
described Scientology.
Bro, Scientology is fucked up, man. Go. There's a documentary a guy did who left Scientology. He's one of the only people to have ever, like, of the three who have ever left to publicly talk about it. And it got like he went on air about it once, and then the next fucking time he got to the airport, there was 38 motherfuckers that walked up and spat in his face. There was some other like there was so many things. All his bank assets got frozen. There was that place.
Holy
You're
shit.
not, dude. You're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to talk about it. If you join Scientology, your kids' kids will die in Scientology. Like, no, that is the biggest cult. And so, yeah, I know probably never should talk about, but please don't ever join Scientology. As any motherfucker that's ever listening to this, please don't join Scientology. It is not the right place to go.
Yes, dude. Like, I've never even remotely like been interested. That's why I'm so surprised.
Dude, the only reason I know about it is because my dad.
I like how I accidentally roasted Scientology. Like I was just describing some made up, very capitalistic religion, and it turned out to be
It
Scientology. Like,
exists. Yeah.
yeah, it exists. It's out there. Da, da, da.
Keval figures out.
Okay.
Keval figures
but-
out how to make religion as evil as possible, and then also pinpoints one of the evil religions that we already have.
Dude.
This is the problem, my friend, with religion. Every time you think and try to make it more evil than it is, it turns out it's already been there, done that. Have a T-shirt to prove it.
Oh man, I really want to continue talking.
Like, okay,
but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call it. We can
It's
talk about
almost
one
2
more.
hours. It was such a great chat.
oh,
Keval, thank you, man. Like, you
okay,
were a
yeah.
blessing, dude. You were such a blessing.
Dude,
Thank you. I had so much fun. I have not had a conversation like this in years, I think. Now I can officially say this post-corona, like years.
So you
And
like now you see
the
what I
level,
mean.
definitely not in life.
Sorry, dude, for interrupting. Now you see what I mean with like the freestyle nature of it as well. You don't have to feel like you have to plan
Yeah, I
anything for
like it.
this.
I like it. We
Dude.
were listening and we didn't even interrupt. And like we did interrupt, but like we listened despite that. And I really enjoyed it. I did.
Dude,
It was a blessed conversation.
It was, man. I feel like my life has been bettered by meeting you, Keval. And I will absolutely keep being. We will keep being friends and talking as long as we can. We will absolutely have another big ass fucking conversation on a podcast soon. You do not have to ever worry about that. I have made a life friend.
Yeah, I want to know you more. Like I got to know you longer than the other friend who left, and I'm glad I did because like we had that moment of true bond that yeah, those shouldn't be taken lightly. Like when you feel those kind of things,
And
you don't take those moments lightly.
and we were born
So yeah, thank you.
12,000 kilometers
Yeah.
away from each other in another world, and yet this technology.
Fuck yeah, but who knows, man? The world is ever shortening, and India was once a part of Africa. So don't question distances so hard.
What a way to end it, man. Thank you so much for your time, my brother.
Yeah, take care, my friend. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Love to you all.
Thank you,
Thank
friends,
you
for
so
watching
much.
as well. We appreciated your presence here.
We did. We love you both. Bye.
Love you, Johan. Love you, Keval. Cheers, friends.